I predict that an AI-based system will become a crypto scammer.
A crypto scammer. Okay. I like that.
Like what level of scammer are we talking about? Are we talking
Like
about
people
how big
regular
does
scam?
How big does the scam have to be?
No, there will be a news article in the Block or CoinDesk or some other somewhat credible publication about how an AI is scamming people.
That also seems like a very safe bet. That's like kind of a
How is that a safe bet?
That's a fucking safe bet.
Not a dividend.
It's a tale of two clans.
Now, your losses are on someone else's balance sheet.
Generally speaking, airdrops are kind of pointless anyways.
Unnamed trading firms who are very involved.
I like that ETH is the ultimate Ponzi.
DeFi protocols are the antidote to this problem.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Chopping Block. Every couple of weeks, the four of us get together and give the industry insider's perspective on the crypto topics of the day. No quick intros. First, we got Tom, the DeFi maven and master of memes.
Hello, everyone.
Next, we got Robert, the crypto connoisseur and czar of Superstate.
Happy holidays.
Next, we've got Tarun, the gigabrain and grand poobah at Gauntlet.
Yo.
And finally, I'm Haseeb, the head hype man at Dragonfly. We're early stage investors in crypto, but I want to caveat that nothing we say here is investment advice, legal advice, or even life advice. Please see choppingblock.xyz for more disclosures. The boys, we are getting into the holidays as well as to the end of the year. We're going to be off next week for the holidays, but given that we are so close to the end of the year, we thought it is time for us to do our year-end recap. This is an annual chopping block tradition. We've been doing this now for a couple of years. And we're wrong every year. We are so wrong. We absolutely are terrible at predicting the future, which is why we're such important investors in the space. So we're going to go through and name a bunch of categories that we are nominating. So the categories for this year are biggest winner, biggest loser, biggest surprise, best new mechanism, best meme, best or worst pivot, biggest flop, biggest comeback story, a favorite chopping block guest, and then finally we'll do predictions for 2024. That all sound good? I assume everybody already has their picks, right? Nobody's making things up on the fly.
I have like 90% of mine.
Tarun?
You know, you're gonna be.
God damn it, Tarun! You're ruining Christmas.
Hey! But you know what? Today is the one day I can be like, you showed up late to the show for recording.
I showed up like
so
2 minutes, like 2 minutes late.
We're even now.
Is that a Christmas sweater?
No, it is a Pink Panther sweater.
Ooh,
Pink
that's
Panther.
cool.
It's got the Grinch green though, and you have the green.
It does.
Hair.
Yeah.
But it is actually, like this like Pink Panther. That's like
Tarun. I'm so touched that you dyed your hair green for Christmas. That's so seasonal.
That's what I'm here for, just to provide the Yuletide and cheer.
Thank you. It's great holiday cheer. Okay, well, in the spirit of green and some green candles, let's talk about the biggest winner of this year. So we'll go around. I'll start. My vote for biggest winner of this year was Hyperliquid. So this one, not a surprise. I don't know if I front run anybody here, but Hyperliquid, of course, decentralized perp dex. It was the biggest airdrop of the season. It is the fair launch. It's kind of the uni moment of this cycle. It feels like it is the one immaculate conception that everyone's excited about. Hyperliquid itself, I don't know how decentralized it is in reality. Obviously, they have a lot of work to do to actually decentralize the entire protocol, but at least in terms of the way the token is distributed and the way that everybody feels about Hyperliquid, it's kind of the underdog, wunderkind winner that everybody is super excited to be a part of. So Hyperliquid, very sad as a VC that we didn't really get a chance to participate in this one. For those who don't know, pretty much every single VC tried to stuff some money into Hyperliquid, and they said no to everybody. So congrats to Hyperliquid, and congrats to everybody who participated.
You could have just bought on day one or traded on there.
You could have. It's. I think it was Yano who tweeted this. Is that I missed the beginning of getting into Hyperliquid in the airdrop, and so instead of now getting in, I'm just going to complain at how much it's running up.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
That was like what happened with Solana. Like I remember, like 2021, there was like the same group of kind of very similar group of people actually complaining.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't complain, but it is very impressive to see how well they've executed. So it's just like just amazing product skills, execution, tech delivery. Obviously, one of the most well executed airdrops that we've seen. Period. With respect to just technical performance. So congrats to Hyperliquid, and congrats to everybody who's a part of it. Robert, you're up next. Biggest winner.
The biggest winner are all American crypto founders and American crypto companies. This is the year that we've gone from an extremely antagonistic and aggressive headwind against American entrepreneurship when it comes to crypto to signs of a wonderful tailwind. This is a huge transformation. As an American crypto founder, I feel like I'm a huge winner. I feel like everyone else is as well. And I'm just really excited that it's no longer going to suck to be an American building in crypto.
All right. God bless America.
God bless America.
Tarun, who's your pick? Biggest winner?
My pick, even though my first pick was probably Haseeb's pick by a long shot, my second pick is just DeFi in general. I think DeFi went from like being hated. What was the Degen Spartan thing? We're on month 4 of the 36-month bear market type thing. Like,
been 36 months.
It feels like it has been 36 months, but like DeFi, I feel like was always kind of the flogged child in crypto. Like these L1s that were vaporware would have 10 times the FTV, and everyone made fun of DeFi. And I feel like it made a big comeback. It's kind of correlated to Robert's point though, because I kind of feel like once that opened up, everyone was like, all right, let's go back to DeFi. But as someone who was born in the DeFi trenches versus born in the meme coin trenches, it's always nice to see it come back,
Okay. It does feel like the DeFi recovery is really concentrated in like Uni, Hyperliquid, Athena, and then Aave feels like the big 4 DeFi winners this year.
Yeah, I think that sounds roughly right. I think, there's always dispersion, right? I feel like a lot of being a winner in like a previous cycle doesn't guarantee you to be a winner in like the next cycle. It's kind of like, look at like the Litecoin chart, for example. But I think people who, kept building and, gaining volume and gaining AUM, and I think they're kind of being rewarded. And I think classically it's like when sentiment is just so unilaterally negative, I think that just means, okay, it is due for a rally, it's due for a redemption arc at some point. And I think that's a little bit what's happening with DeFi.
All right. Tom, who's your biggest winner?
I might be boring and select my 2023 winner, which is Tether, because they just continue to have an incredible year, and they continue to be extremely profitable, arguably the most profitable company in the world per employee. They're making billions of dollars, even with rate cuts in the short term. Howard Lutnick now, Commerce Secretary of Cantor Fitzgerald, and so I feel like Tether is also one of those things that people have been waiting to die or something bad to happen to it for years and years and years and years, and it actually just gets more and more successful every single year and more legitimized, and continues to grow. And I think it's also just been a great champion story and case study for crypto. And I think the story of stablecoin adoption and global dollarization has been also just very popular politically. So Tether continues to be crushing it. There's no brakes on the train.
It is a rite of passage in crypto to short Tether at least once in your life, and then to never do it again. Well, not never do it again. You can obviously short Tether pretty easily, but nobody who's shorted Tether has ever gotten anything out of it. So unfortunately, okay. Let's switch gears. Next is biggest loser. So Robert, you're up first. Who's the biggest loser of 2024?
Well, this is an extension of my first answer. The biggest loser is the anti-crypto army. And the members of the House and the Senate and sections of the executive branch, including members of the SEC and those who are implementing Operation Choke Point 2.0. The anti-crypto army is the biggest loser. They thought incorrectly that the persecution of the crypto industry was a winning platform to advance their political careers, and they were proven wrong. It has not been a winning strategy. It has been an absolute failure of a strategy. And hopefully this changes the concept of attacking crypto as a political or partisan successful platform, and will never be repeated again.
That's a great answer. Tarun, what's yours? Biggest loser?
I think I'm going to pick a category, but I would sort of say a lot of the like tail L2s. I think, coming in from 2023 to 2024, there was this narrative of there'll be 5 million L2s. Every L2 stack is going to have a ton of special purpose app chains. And maybe I should actually make this broadly more the app chain thesis. Cosmos continues to flail and explode in ways that are even more embarrassing to all the participants every week I open Twitter. But I would say that like there was this view that like everyone had AppChain, it would have all this kind of things with people who had successful apps like Blur would be able to launch their own app chain like L2s like Blast, and it would work. And clearly, so far, that has been proven to not be very true at all. I think there's been concentration in the top L2s. In fact, if you look at sort of the Gini coefficient across L2s, it's like concentrated even more into the top ones. So I think the app chain thesis in general and app chain enjoyers are the biggest losers.
I remember when we did our show, right when Blast first launched their bridge, their multisig bridge, and I think I was the only one on the show who was like, I don't think Blast is going to work. And all of you guys were like, Asib, you're an idiot. Every single L2 is going to be farming their bridge. What was it called when they were like putting like Lido and Maker? What was it? Like real
native
yield or
native
something?
yield.
Native yield. Yeah.
But one thing
so I'm going to say I
is,
call that. I'm going to say I call that.
One thing I will add is Hyperliquid is sort of a weird exception to this rule, but it's sort of weirdly not an app chain
very
yet.
Clean.
But it's not an app chain yet, right? Like I can't deploy anything yet. We haven't seen if the Hype EVM would work, it will get adoption, whatever. So I'm not counting it because it's like almost closer to a centralized thing right now than it is a full decent. So I'm drawing the lines in my box of biggest loser of like app chains, but Hyperliquid gets to stay out.
Okay. Well, it's not an app chain. It is an app chain right now, but it's not a generalized app chain.
Yeah.
Now.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to make sure I before I get yelled at, I'm giving them, they're not in this loser category.
Sure. Okay. Fair. So my pick for biggest loser was financial nihilism. I think financial nihilism had a real just uproarious first half of the year where it felt like the cool thing to do and the successful thing to do was to believe that nothing in crypto mattered. Everything is a meme coin. All the tech shit is going to go down the drain and it's all a big, gigantic scam. And basically what we've seen, especially in the last quarter or so, is just, meme coin trading as a percentage of what's happening in crypto has receded massively. It went from like 20, 30% of total volumes in crypto down to like 10% or even less on any given day. And there's just more enthusiasm. There's more belief. And like, if your view was that all the tech stuff is useless and none of this matters and everything is pointless, I think you were a big loser this year. Although, I mean, maybe if you exited if you exited before Trump got elected, then okay, maybe you did well. But I think the view of the right thing to do is to give up on the vision of crypto. I think that view has been a big loser for this year. Tom, what's your pick? Biggest loser.
Robert took my anti-crypto army, but
Boom.
an adjacent camp, I would say, is everyone who pivoted out of crypto in 2023. This is sort of the meme. If you're in crypto, pivot to AI. And I think it's just such a classic, it's over, we're so back kind of thing where it's like, okay, asset prices go down, investors leave, builders leave, extremely negative market sentiment. And there's always some sort of comeback and it always looks different. And it's different people. But, we're back. And I think maybe for a lot of people, this is their first time kind of seeing that or learning that. But I know a lot of people personally who sold a bunch of their crypto or shut down their companies or started working in a different space. And I think, I don't know, it's kind of sad to see that, you really do need conviction to make it in this space. And a lot of people kind of lack that.
Tut. Pivoted to AI. That's what you get. That's what you get. Most hated rally. Okay. Next prize is for biggest surprise. Tarun, you go first. What was the biggest surprise of 2024?
I think without a doubt for me, the top two, and I put them in a similar category, are Pump.Fun and BonkBot. So Pump.Fun, like a year ago, basically had, it existed, but actually I think we talked about it on the show in like January or February, like when it was just getting started. And it was sort of this new novel way for people to create assets without knowing that they're creating assets and figuring out having this whole mechanic around meme coins. And I would argue that the nihilism trend would not have been able to grow as fast as possible that Pump.Fun. The other thing that I'm putting in a similar category, but it's slightly different, is BonkBot, which is a Telegram bot for buying meme coins predominantly. Like you can buy other things, but And I think BonkBot, if you look at its revenue, secretly a silent killer, very similar to Pump.Fun level revenue. Both companies that have existed for like a year that hit $100 million in revenue first year. So like another kind of big surprise from both of them. I think the infrastructure around meme coins, that to me, that was a surprise. And then those two are the highlights in my mind.
Nice. Tom, what's your biggest surprise of the year?
I'll make a comment on Tarun's surprise later, but my biggest surprise was maybe it's a two. One is the launch of World Liberty Financial, or the announcement of it. The fact that like the president at the time, presidential candidate was associated with a DeFi token, and Barron Trump has a wallet, and just like kind of insane clown.
Trump has
four wallets, three wallets. Very, very surreal. But then also, I think the fact that the sale has gone so poorly. I felt like if a meme coin or a random NFT can mint out in a very short amount of time, I would expect a DeFi token associated with the president also would have sold out. And yet, I think it's still only like 25% sold, and really seems to be kind of tapering off. So I guess a surprise in both ways, both the fact that it happened and the fact that it was not very big.
Okay, what's your comment on Tarun's answer about?
I was gonna say. This was my 2024 prediction: was apps are going to make a bunch of the money, and like if you look at Photon, Banana Gun, even like the Uniswap front end. I mean, these things make hundreds of millions of dollars, more than most DeFi protocols. And so maybe didn't predict meme coin infrastructure specifically, but like apps are crushing it, and arguably more profitable and better revenue generating than a lot of protocols.
There you go.
Their tokens don't do that well, though. That's like the funny thing. Right?
No, it's all privatized. No one gets it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my biggest surprise, I had two big surprises. One biggest surprise was the rise of tap to earn. Or was it click to earn? The rise of tap to earn. Like, I'm just like, why? And it seems like it's gone now. Like, it's already over. I don't hear anything about tap to earn games anymore. Yeah, Hamster Combat.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. So tap to earn. So those who don't know, tap to earn is literally a game where there's like a basically just an image, and you tap on the image as many times as you can per day until you run out of taps, and then you tap more the next day.
Did you dream this? I've never even heard of this before. This may have been some sort of summer fever dream that you had. I don't think any of us are familiar with
I'm
this.
taking too many drugs lately.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, I mainly only heard of these because like they would be listed on all the pre-launch markets and have insane volume, and you'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
We talked about talked about Hamster Combat on the show.
We talked about Hamster Combat, and
no, I know I'm talking to Tarun. Tarun seems genuinely confused by
maybe
hearing
I
about
just
this.
like had amnesia about it. I was like, "This is not worth."
Hamster Combat
storing
had hundreds of millions of users, and it was banned in Iran because like the Iranian military, so many people in the Iranian military were using Hamster Combat every single day. And there was like an Iranian general who was quoted saying that he thought Hamster Combat was a psyop by the American government to try to corrupt the minds of Iranians. This thing was insane. It was absolutely insane.
I have a little weird theory about this, something very related to this. But I was at this coffee shop in the East Village this weekend, and I heard these like 15-year-olds talking about how they're like sitting in Discords and GMing to try to earn tokens. And I was like, you guys are 15 and you figured out that you need to go to the Monad Discord. And then one of them told the best story ever, which was that he was like, yeah, I got like detention because my school doesn't allow you to have phones during the day, but I like needed to GM in order to get my airdrop. And I was like,
wow.
Maybe like the world's 15-year-olds who want like extra cash, like they are the ones who are like really into this stuff, that in a way that like I would never.
The best minds of my generation crushed by GMing.
It's kind of similar to this tap to earn thing in my head. This like whole go to Discord to try to earn.
Okay, so I had a part two, which is a little bit totally orthogonal, but the other biggest surprise that I saw this year was that there was really no major crypto hacks that were like at like either L1 or DeFi.
That's true.
Like, dude, there's going to be a hack in the next 2 weeks because of these stuff.
just before the year end. Yeah. But there was like no, there was no layer 1 that was hacked. There was no like big DeFi hack. I mean, there was like a few things like, Gala lost some tokens, and then, there were some centralized exchanges that got hacked, and some multi-sigs that got hacked, but those are all private key leaks. There was no big, $100 million plus smart contract hacks this year. That was very surprising. So it kind of seems like we're getting better at this, which is good, because TVL has recovered massively this year, but we have not seen the same level of losses that we saw in previous years. So Robert, finish us off. Bigger surprise for the year.
All right, I'll go quickly because this one's boring. It extends on what Tarun said about crypto meme coin infrastructure, but I'm looking one layer deeper. I was surprised by the rise of Solana and Base as the meme coin infrastructure this year. Both of them really came out into pole position for meme coins, and a lot of new user activity, due to low trading fees and the easy ability to launch new tokens. And as platforms, both of them rose much more quickly and aggressively in terms of adoption than I would have expected.
All right. Next is best new mechanism. Tom, you're up first. What is your vote for best new mechanism?
I'm glad I get to go first because I feel like this is going to be a popular one. I'm going to go the pump bonding curve and sort of LP lock. I mean, got him.
Yeah.
No,
Nice.
I mean, it's just a very
That's
novel
the most
solution to a very old
emotion you've
problem.
ever shown on the show. That was like, whoa.
I just love new mechanisms.
I just wasn't.
You got
I
me.
wasn't ready for it. I
Tom's the
wasn't ready
mechanism
for it.
guy.
I wasn't
Tom's the
ready for
mechanism
it.
guy. He gets excited.
I just read you guys. I thought you would have some. Well, now I'm curious
Yeah.
to see what everyone else
Well played.
thinks. Yeah.
Well played. Okay. Well, I also had pumped up fun bonding curve, but I guess my backup for best mechanism, I'd say Athena, and just the the sort of tokenized carry trade.
Oh, I have a different answer on Athena, so good.
Okay. All right, Robert.
I think the best mechanism, and you see it in Athena, you see it in Usual, you're going to see it in like 14 other stablecoin-like things, is yield amplification by taking the yield from a thing, and it can be a carry trade, it could be T-bills, it could be literally anything, and passing it only to a subset of users. And when you do this, it amplifies the yield dramatically. And so if you're earning 5% in some underlying strategy, but only 1/4 of your users are getting that yield, it multiplies it by 4. And it winds up being a 20% yield for a smaller number of users. And this is, a really interesting dynamic that I think has propelled the launch of Athena. And I think it's actually incredibly powerful. And we're going to see a lot of experimentation with this same mechanism in the coming months.
What should we call this? This doesn't have a name.
Robert,
This is
give it a
just
name.
yield discrimination. Like realistically, it's
Yeah.
discrimination.
There you go.
It's
I
yield
agree.
redlining.
Yield.
Some people get.
Wait, no,
not yield
you
redlining.
can pass the membrane very
Yield
easily,
redlining.
right?
Yeah.
I actually feel like yield
No,
amplification is catchy, not yield redlining. That was-
Yield
Yeah.
amplification. Is
I
it
think
amplification?
It's really discrimination. It's more like discrimination.
Yield
than it's
discrimination. That sounds like a bad thing, though.
Yeah, it's not.
But it is
I
a
like the
bad thing for
amplification.
USDE holders, not SUSD.
Yeah, but they're
holders.
opting in. They're opting
Yeah,
out in order
that's
to
true,
get a
that's
more liquid asset, right? So
Well,
Well, they're
it's always
opting
it's
out
like a
to get
bank,
more
right?
airdrop.
Opt-in native yield. I don't know. That would be
opt-in native yield. Okay, we got to
Too
workshop
much,
this.
too
We got to workshop this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Tarun, what's your best new mechanism?
So I would say that clearly the top two things this year were like the meme coin kind of how do you go bootstrap from the liquidity, and the second thing in general, which is kind of what you and Robert were talking about, was generally basis trading. But one of the pieces underlying a lot of basis trades that exists in Solana and in Hyperliquid are these market maker lending pools. And I'm actually writing a paper on this. So I've been like really spending a lot of time reading the contract code for these. So this is like the Hyperliquid HLP pool, the Jupiter JLP pool on Solana, and the GMX GLP pool on Arbitrum. Technically, this was first invented by the GMX pool in late 21, early 22. But I think they sort of made a lot of the initial mechanism doesn't look like the stuff that everyone else uses now. But the idea here is that, in centralized exchanges, one of the main advantages that perpetuals exchanges have in centralized exchanges is that the exchange can give market makers loans, like under collateralized loans. So they can say, like, we'll give you some amount of some token as long as you promise to market make at least a certain amount of volume in that token. decentralized exchanges don't have that mechanism. There's not like an easy way for market makers to borrow assets to then use to trade. And what these pools do is they facilitate that. So users who want yield put assets into these pools, and then traders on the perpetuals exchange effectively borrow from these users, borrow from the people who put pooled assets, and they pay them fees. And that has basically facilitated a lot of market maker loan like behavior on decentralized perpetuals exchanges, which is why they're at all-time highs in some ways. Obviously Hyperliquid growing is the main reason, but Hyperliquid was able to bootstrap itself a lot of its usage in the beginning by building these HLP pools. And same with Jupiter, right? Like Jupiter has like 1.5 billion in JLP. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I think underlying all these basis trades, this is like the core DeFi kind of infrastructure that is making sure that the on-chain basis trades are doable.
What does the LP stand for? Is it just LP?
I think they just say liquidity pool, but in my paper, I'm calling it perpetual demand loan pool because it's like a loan that you're lending to.
Pool.
Yeah,
right. But each protocol, so for something like GMX, the liquidity provision itself is programmatic.
There's a target weight, so the governance or multisig chooses a weight, and then it's programmatic. Whereas HLP is purely done by third party. You don't know the strategy. But there's still fundamentally this point
who's
that
the third party for like JLP or for HLP?
Well, for JLP or GLP, it's just arbitrageurs. Like you can arbitrage the pool like an AMM. There's like a way to do an arbitrage. But for Hyperliquid, it's like the Hyperliquid team does the.
They are themselves running.
They are themselves
the
running the strategy. Correct. Correct.
Got it.
So, but the main point is this idea that users who want yield, like users who want to be LPs in an AMM, can give money to this pool, and then people who want to market make can use it. And I think that has enabled, perpetuals exchanges and DeFi will never be fully as capital efficient as pure centralized, but this has brought it a lot closer to parity. So I think that, to me, that's why I think that's like the best mechanism.
Okay, very good. Okay, now let's change gears a little bit. The next category is best meme. So, Tom, why don't you kick it off with best meme? What do you got for best meme?
I think you're supposed to go first this time, aren't you? I want
to
hear.
Yeah. Okay, all right. For my my pick for best meme, I guess we'll put them up in post on the screen. So if you're watching the video, you can see the memes alongside us. My vote for best meme was Justin Sun's birthday. I don't know if you guys remember this, but so Justin Sun, very famously loved in our industry, loved apparently by his own employees. He posted a birthday picture on his birthday that apparently was AI generated because he has 14 fingers, and it was probably one of the saddest moments for one of the most successful crypto entrepreneurs we've had in this industry. But I was just very tickled by it. It's one of these things I'm going to hold on to for a long time. All right, Robert, what's your pick for best meme?
Well, it's not a meme per se, but it sort of is. I'm going to award the best meme in my mind to the Pudgy Penguins this year. And maybe I'm biased because today Pengu launched, starting at, I think, a $5 trillion FDV when it started trading. Yes.
Okay. As one does.
As one does. But Pudgy Penguins, and I'm not a Pudgy Penguin holder, and I don't have any Pengu. So, I just respect them. Yeah, I know. How crazy is that?
Wait, how did you not get it? You surely are like because they had like 500 categories.
I checked and no, I'm like, for some reason, I'm not an OGF user, even though I am. I don't know. It's like,
that's brutal.
I know, totally brutal. But best meme goes to Pudgy Penguins for building through the bear market with kind of a mediocre meme, but just reinforcing it often enough and heavily enough that it's become successful.
Wait, how is it the best meme if it's a mediocre meme?
Because of its
most successful meme. Most successful meme.
Yeah, there's like Pudgy Penguin toys, and they now have a Pudgy Penguin meme coin, and the community has thrived. And so this silly meme of these fat penguins, I think, has been the most successful meme this year.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. All right, Tarun. What's your pick for best meme?
I think I am going to continue with my choice of Bonk. Mainly because I thought BonkBot was kind of like a genius way to grow Bonk itself. It's multi-billion-dollar market cap meme. Over a year, it basically was zero a year ago. I think it's kind of if there were a blue chip Solana meme, it's probably Bonk or Whiff, and Whiff just never showed up on the sphere despite promising, so I'm going to have to go with Bonk.
Okay. Fair enough. Tom, what's your pick? Best meme?
It was really tough. There are a lot of choices. I don't know if this is the optimal choice, but it's one that really stuck with me. Is Hugo Martingale, the Polymarket intern account on Twitter, is just absolutely crushing it. Always very novel, engaging content. Always in the replies, roasting people. Very, very good account, and obviously the name Hugo Martingale, also great. So go check it out.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I'm glad that you didn't also pick a coin as your meme. Because with Robert and Tarun, I was like, okay, are we all picking meme coins instead of picking memes? Because I'm like,
So
how
on the
far
nose.
has crypto fallen
Yeah.
that when we think meme, we think in coins now. But okay, good. I'm
Well,
glad.
we do.
I feel vindicated. Yeah, I mean,
Colt
okay.
was my backup, but we can't pick a coin.
We had way too
Yeah.
many episodes about meme coins this year. Like, let me say that
We
very
really
transparently.
did.
I
Yeah,
hope next year we
yeah.
have way fewer meme coin episodes.
I hope for Tarun's sake that we have more regulatory episodes because I know he loves those. Okay, so
Please, no.
okay, all right. Next up is best or worst pivot. Robert, why don't you start? Best or worst pivot?
I am going to combine two categories for best pivot and biggest comeback story, because at least for this nomination, I think they should be combined. And I think many of the best pivots are probably also the best comeback stories. So maybe we can have fewer categories. But I award MicroStrategy best pivot and biggest comeback story. They pivoted
Wait, what's the pivot?
from mediocre business intelligence software to becoming a Bitcoin levered ETF.
Wait, wasn't
And
that
yes,
like
it was
5
not-
That was
years
like
ago?
5 years ago.
I know,
Yeah, what
but
are you
this
talking
is the
about? How
year-
is that 2024?
Hold on. 2024 is the year that like this success was really crystallized. And yes, this pivot was
Wait,
not.
why was it crystallized this year? Just because the price went up?
Yeah, the growth of MicroStrategy. The comeback story is, they previously had hit their high during the dot-com bubble. It crashed, and this year they finally overcame that extremely historical valuation. And they've justified this evolution and pivot from mediocre business intelligence software to levered Bitcoin ETF. And it's an incredible pivot. It's an incredible pivot because they've stumbled upon a phenomenal business model, issuing, convertible debt at a premium to underlying Bitcoin holdings and using it to buy more Bitcoin and creating this perpetual money machine Bitcoin flywheel. It's incredible.
Is this the Do Kwon honorary award in best
Yeah, this
pivot?
is not going to age well, Robert. We're gonna have to clip this later.
I'm a little worried
A
about
year and a
this.
half from now, we're going to play this back. And
I have
you're
a tremendous amount of
Twitter.
respect for Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. I think he's pulled off the best pivot and the best comeback story.
All right, beautiful. Brings a tear to my eye. All right, Tarun, what do you have for best or worst pivot for
I
2024?
think this is best pivot, but this one I would say is like the pivot kind of probably technically started in 2023, but I would say it like was actualized in 2024. So as long as we're fine with that. And I'm going to actually say Babylon, the restaking protocol, partially because Babylon started as a timestamping service for Cosmos chains on Bitcoin. And then they eventually figured out sort of a way of doing what they call remote staking, which is sort of like a way of kind of staking another chain, but using your Bitcoin as collateral in a certain kind of under a certain security model. And then they got to 6 billion TVL by now, right? And so like that huge change from just this timestamping service for Cosmos chains to kind of doing the Bitcoin restaking. So I think like to me that was one of the most successful like business model pivots I've seen in a while. Because like I don't think the timestamping stuff alone would have survived. And I think getting to the size they got to, yeah, you got to have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah. Wasn't David's Sriram's advisor or something like that? They worked together.
Sriram's advisor's advisor.
Advisor's advisor. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So he sort of sucked up the idea of 2 layers deep, like a true advisor.
But it was a pivot, right? Like there's no doubt that was.
No, it was
a pivot.
definitely.
So
I remember.
it
the
just
V1
kind of
of
started
Babylon.
last year. I'm not sure exactly when you can. But like But it like you could say it like the pivot was complete in 2024.
Sure.
You know, if MicroStrategy is a pivot, I think Babylon also cancels a pivot in terms of the 2024.
Yeah, seriously.
time
Yeah.
box. So,
If
my
MicroStrategy
timeline
pivot,
was-
everything is a pivot.
Okay, great. I'm just
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So my biggest pivot, Bitcoin. Bitcoin pivoted massively this year. All right, Tom, go ahead.
Sure did.
was
That
good.
code base really
Big
evolved.
pivot.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
go ahead, Tom.
I thought Babylon was lazy as a pit. 'cause,
I'm
like, it was
kidding.
a-
No,
That's
it
a
was
joke.
good.
That's a joke.
It was
It's a
good.
joke. Tom, go ahead.
I had the Democratic Party. I don't know if you remember. There's this
Ooh,
whole
that is good.
timeline
Well done.
of like
Okay, nice.
Trump,
Nice.
Mar-a-Lago, and then like Joe Biden put out like an executive statement like, oh, we need digital assets, and then like nothing really happened, and then Kamala kind of put out this like half-assed thing about like we need to protect black men's crypto investments. Everyone's like what the fuck? Like it's and Trump just followed like this very easy playbook of like saying the things people want to hear, doing the things people want you to do. They're very easy layup kind of things, nothing crazy.
Free Ross.
Free Ross, like he said, free Ross. And so I feel like this is just a, you know, you're 2 inches from the hole and they just whiffed it. And I'm just like, what? Incredibly bad. And the whole time people were trying to tell the story around Democrats pivoting that just like was not happen. It didn't happen.
All right. The worst pivot. I respect that.
The non-existing crypto pivot.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
worst
so
pivot, 'cause
Bitcoin
they
wasn't
tried
your
and they
real-
failed.
We're
No,
gonna
it
get a
wasn't.
real
Bitcoin was
pivot
my
out
real
of you.
answer. Bitcoin was
Okay,
my real
good.
answer.
Come on.
No, I was making fun of Robert's pick. My pick for best pivot was NFT communities pivoting into meme coins. So I thought you see this with Milady's launching Cult Token. You see this with Pudgy Penguins launching Pengu. The meme coins somehow have a bigger market cap than the NFTs, and they have somehow managed to like nail the landing. Nobody's calling them sellouts. Nobody's saying they abandoned NFTs, but they clearly. I mean, it's surprising that it happened so late, that it took them so long to launch the meme coins, but. Like now they basically just have these coins that do nothing, or I don't know. As far as I can tell, they do nothing. And so maybe they're not meme coins.
I would just argue it took a while because like I think a lot of the NFTs that were worthwhile were in Ethereum, and then a lot of the meme coin stuff happened in Solana, and so it just like there was like this natural friction, right? Like if you look at the Pengu thing, they're launching L2, but they did the meme coin in Solana.
Yeah. I don't know how much the chain or the timing. Obviously, all these things had some impact on it. Net, but I think the main takeaway is like if you remember, I think it was Azuki launched anime, or they're going to do anime. I don't know if they actually launched the token yet, but like anime is like this very earnest, serious thing to like try to create value. Super bearish, not nowhere near going to have the reception of a Pengu, which is just a vibe coin. I don't even know if it's a meme coin. It's just a vibe coin.
I think I totally agree. I think people learned 2 lessons. One is the ape chain thing. I think exact same problem, right? Apecoin, this big story, blah, 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 blah. And then there was also Mad Lads, if you remember, like you could turn the Mad Lad into a coin. And I think the answer is people want more coins. They want 2 coins. They don't want 1 coin. So it's like you don't have to do the conversion. You just make a new coin and give it to people. And so I think it's the coin could be a vibe, and just issue a coin. Don't try to be cute with it.
Yeah, no, it's weird because there is like there should be some like financial conservation of mass, but it's more that like you can't launch 2 meme coins. You can launch 1 meme coin, and you don't need to like consume the NFT to launch the meme coin.
Financial
but if you do 2 meme
conservation
coins,
of mass. Wow.
it's like if you do the second meme coin, it's kind of like Azuki and Elementals. Like people are like, wait, what the fuck are you doing to like if you launch like Penguins 2, it's like, wait, what happened to my Pengu? Why are you destroying my Pengu? Leave it alone. Like you already did 1, leave it.
Give me something new.
This is Koreshi's first law. It's
Koreshi's first law.
Yeah.
Conservation of financial mass. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Cool. All right. So next is biggest flop. Tarun, what is the biggest flop for 2024?
I feel like we're all going to say the same thing.
I don't think we're all going to say the same thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think we're all going to say the same thing.
Yeah, Tarun, what do you got? Biggest flop. Tarun did not do his homework.
Nope.
Yes.
I
All right,
will.
We're going to
Tom,
skip
you- Tom,
Tarun.
you
We're going to
did
skip
it.
Tarun, and we're going to come back to you. All right.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah.
you'll be inspired by our answers of people who did the homework. Tom,
Yes.
I love to front run on the fun categories.
nice. All right.
I'm going to go Maker rebrand to Sky. I don't know if that's what you guys were thinking of, but I mean, even the fact that we're calling it Maker, And so instead of Sky, I think is maybe good evidence of the fact that this was not a great rebrand. I think DAI is still quite large versus USDS. People still call it DAI. And there's talk of them rolling it back. So feels like that was really not a needed rebrand and not particularly good rebrand. So that was my big flop.
That was a good nomination.
Yeah. My vote for biggest flop is Bitcoin L2s. So there was a big story about Bitcoin L2s at the beginning of the year, and everyone's like, oh, they're going to have billions of dollars of TVL and everyone wants this. And Bitcoin loves DeFi. And now we've had a bunch of these go live and they're just absolute ghost towns. I never hear anybody talking about them. I never hear any founders say they want to launch on a Bitcoin L2. And so that was my first pick for biggest flop. There's of course more that are coming to market, but it's just like, there's just no demonstrated demand for any of these so far. The second biggest flop is celeb coins. So there was a hot moment where people thought celeb coins were meme coins, but better because there's a celebrity attached. Yeah. So, I mean, Mother is definitely in that category. But just the general idea of, basically these are social tokens, right? We had a name for these once upon a time. They're social tokens, but for celebrities. I think these have they just aged absolutely terribly. And there was a point in the cycle where it's like, oh my God, these are going to be enormous. And then Ansem kind of got, crucified for associating himself with all these celeb coins. And now it feels like celeb coins are pretty bearish. So that's my vote for second biggest flop. Robert, what do you got?
I actually thought other people were going to say this one, so I have not been sniped, although Tarun could just pretend that he had this idea too. So we'll see what he says. I think the biggest flop was Friendtech and the death of SocialFi. So there was a moment earlier this year when Friendtech was extremely hot, and then it cooled off. And then Friendtech was like, we're launching V2 and we're launching a Friend token. And all of this happened in a relatively short amount of time. And it really culminated with none of us having uttered the word Friendtech ever since. This was, for a hot second, considered one of the hottest startups in crypto. And it like fast forwarded through the entire life cycle of a crypto project so unbelievably quickly, from idea to absolute, adoration to, a deadly silence. And, the product is now total zero. The token is a total zero. Like, it's gone. Like, it's one of the few things to truly kill itself off. So congrats, Friendtech. I think that was the biggest flop.
Do you put Farcaster in the same bucket, or would you say Friendtech stands alone?
I don't know. I mean, I think Farcaster is still around. I think it still has a little bit of legs. I think the whole social thing, with crypto is hard. It's a very hard problem. I think it's going to be a while before we see like a true like breakout success. But I'm optimistic that something is going to achieve critical mass.
Yeah. Ironically, Blue Sky seems to have been the real success
so far.
There's no crypto. It's ostensibly decentralized or supposedly, but there's no crypto element. All right, Tarun, have you been inspired? Are you ready to turn in your homework?
Or do we skip you?
I'm trying not to copy my homework.
He needs an extension.
Skip.
All right. Were you typing into ChatGPT while we were going around?
Honestly, I was just thinking about all the things I could say, and I just felt like I was being too mean. So I was like, all right.
Give us the meanest thing you thought of.
DeSci, is it DeSci?
Well, DeSci is just dead on arrival.
No, DeSci's blowing up. No. DeSci is killing it. I'd say best new mechanism, pump.science.
I hope not for
Embarrassing.
Okay.
Yeah, I will have to commit seppuku, as I said somewhere on Twitter. I think the biggest flop.
You're making it up right now. You don't get one. You're skip.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly,
right. You know what?
Right.
Biggest flop is Tarun actually having an answer. That's the biggest flop.
I'm the flop.
Okay.
I'm the flop.
Yeah, Tarun is flop pretty much. All right. We're skipping you, Tarun. Going around to the next question. So next is biggest comeback story. Tom, kick us off. What's the biggest comeback story for 2024?
I had two. One was Pudgy, but I think we've discussed Pudgy to a pretty good extent. Two, I was going to say Coinbase. Coinbase also, I think, fits this mold of just becoming like the whipping boy in crypto. When prices go down, everyone's like, this company is toast. They did, like thousands of layoffs in 2023. People thought they were going to go to business and blah, blah, blah. And then ETFs launched. Coinbase is custodian for the ETFs. They continue to get more and more momentum as the asset class gets legitimized, launched offshore, which is not crushing it, but at the very least it's growing. And so I think Coinbase feels like, again, one of those things when it's most hated, that's when it's probably gonna have some sort of comeback. And I also just think they're just such a force for good in the space. I think they also got a stay on their SEC lawsuit, and so it just feels like they've continued to rack up the dubs in 2024.
Well, we did actually all say Coinbase last year, FYI. So they come back 2 years in a row. Very impressive for Coinbase.
Double the comeback.
I don't know I don't know how you do a double comeback, but they did it.
Wait, I know my biggest flop.
We skipped you,
Okay,
Tarun.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
PayPal USD. PayPal USD.
Okay. Wow.
Damn.
All right. We're losing our sponsors as we speak. Thank you, Tarun. Thank you for making the show.
At least you didn't say
Thank
Red Bull,
No, Red Bull's always winning.
Yeah, biggest comeback story, Red Bull. Thank you to our sponsors.
No.
All right. Yeah. We don't have Red Bull, please sponsors. My vote for biggest comeback. So I had originally had Dino Coins, but I felt it was a little simple. So I went a little deeper and picked Magic Eden. So Magic Eden, you may remember, once upon a time they were the kind of second fiddle to OpenSea and then to Blur as the kind of Gen 1 of the NFT meta was carrying on. And then Magic Eden made a great move to get onto Bitcoin and get into BRC20s and ordinals, and they have just crushed it. Crazy amounts of volume. I think they've also done pretty well in Solana too. So they've just done super well, launched a token recently, and kind of vindicated themselves. So congrats to Magic Eden, the Magic Eden team. Robert, what do you got for biggest comeback?
Well, I already named one, which is MicroStrategy, but the second, and it's a cousin of that, would be the Bitcoin ETF complex, or crypto ETFs in general. So these launched at the very beginning because they were expected to be non-existent.
Well, there's many years of denials, right?
Years and years and years of denials and sandbagging and failure to launch. And this was the year of the Bitcoin ETFs leading to the Ether ETFs. And so I feel like they made a rise from the grave thanks to Grayscale suing the SEC and it going to court and them winning. But they rose from the dead, and the ETFs have been incredibly successful. And I think that the ETFs and the crypto ETF complex in general is the biggest comeback story.
Feels more like winner than comeback story.
Winner, sure.
I'll allow it.
They came back
I feel
from
like
the
BlackRock. BlackRock's a winner. BlackRock's a winner. Okay, but okay, fine. All right, Tarun, do you have a nomination for biggest comeback story?
Yes. So I already mentioned
Tarun having answers, biggest comeback.
I already mentioned the DeFi as a winner. So I also think there was a comeback there, but I think that since I already said that, I'm going to actually go with the Move ecosystems. I mean, Sui at 50 billion, Movement launching to over 5 billion. A lot of protocols launching in DeFi on those chains. I kind of just feel like there was a rebound. Like in 2023, I feel like everyone kind of thought there was nothing happening there. Especially because we had the big Solana push towards Q3, Q4 of 2023. It sort of didn't feel. It's kind of felt like the moves were kind of the odd person out, and they've clearly come back. I think they've added a bunch of UX features. A lot of other nice things have happened. So I give them big comeback.
Nice, that's a good answer. Okay, next up is favorite chopping block guest. So who is your favorite chopping block guest this year? I'll go first. My favorite guest was actually Novo. So Novogratz, he was on the debate that okay, nice. So you hosted Robert a debate on the election, and it was Novogratz versus Sean McGuire. And Novo doesn't do a lot of shows. He doesn't do a lot of media, it feels like. And he's just such an interesting character. He was actually very measured, very thoughtful. But just so he was the pro-democratic side. And I expected him to give just kind of a tepid, lukewarm thing, but I really liked him. I found his views to be incredibly thoughtful. Somebody who doesn't speak his mind that often, candidly, and I found it to be super refreshing.
Yeah, +1. That was my favorite episode. If you have not yet watched the debate, it's a little bit no longer timely because the election has happened, and it was a great, moment to reflect ahead of the election. But loved having Novogratz and Sean McGuire on. Next year, in 4 years, we'll do another one of those. Maybe in 2 years, we'll do another, election episode. Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Tarun, who do you got for favorite guest?
Gort, because we got him before his podcast became popular, and he took, he was already taken off as a Twitter influencer, but he was on Chopping Block before the Gort show took off. So I think of that as our claim to fame.
That's right.
We nice claim to fame.
Okay. Wow.
We're a launch pad. We're a podcast launch pad.
Launch pad, yes.
Wow. Okay. Podcast.fun. Tom.
Oh, pod.fun is a good idea.
Pod.fun. Okay. Nice.
Launch a podcast. Easier than launching a coin.
A podcast with a coin.
Podcast with Don't do it. I had Arthur Hayes from the Token 2049. Arthur is always just super high energy, very fun. I think very different than a lot of the guests that we normally get on the show. So I was enjoying hearing him. And also just, frankly, I think his interesting insights on macro and Asia and crypto investing overall.
Yeah, I did love his Jason Derulo story. I mean,
yeah, that was really good.
If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and just look up, try to find the part where we talked about Jason Derulo. It's actually it's wonderful. Okay, so
wait, who's yours?
The last.
Oh, you already.
I already said.
Sorry.
Yeah,
the two of you were the same. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Robert compensated me. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up with predictions for 2024. But before we do predictions, I want to go back and basically grade us on how our predictions for this year that we made at the end of last year went. Which, spoiler alert, we did not do well. So let me just run through it real quick. So we'll start with myself. So my predictions were a major L2 hack will occur, which did not happen. No major L2s were hacked. That being said, no major L2s really, cut off their training wheels, but fine. Second, a major L1 will perform a rollback. Did not happen. Not even close. Totally off on these. Third, Binance will lose its position as the number one exchange by market share. Also not even close. With Binance still crushing it. Bybit is gaining on them, but Binance still unequivocally the number one. So, yeah, big L's for me. Robert, here were your predictions for 2024. First, you predicted that a Bitcoin ETF will launch. Very brave.
Boom.
Very brave prediction. To be clear, wasn't the ETF already approved by December?
No, there was expectation.
Was it not? Oh, it was January. It was January.
Yeah, it launched mid-Gen. We thought it was likely that it was coming, but there was no guarantees.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was a safe prediction, but that one was
the market probably, if there was Polymarket at the time, it was probably 60%.
Sure. Wait, how did we not mention Polymarket?
Great.
Damn. Okay.
Point. We'll come back to that.
Yeah. All right.
A lot of winners.
Yeah. Biggest comeback.
A lot of winners.
Biggest comeback.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, Tarun, I'm going to nominate your biggest comeback. Change it to Polymarket.
All right.
Sure, so
whatever.
Second thing for Robert, proposal for US CBDC will emerge from a credible proposer. I don't think that has happened. Doesn't seem like that happened. Finally, total stablecoin market cap will decline due to a shift toward volatile crypto assets and other low risk assets. Absolutely not. Totally, nope.
Tether and USDC still.
Okay, so Robert, you're 1 for 3. You're 1 for 3. All right, Tarun, your predictions were DEXs will momentarily reach 50% market share of spot trading volume relative to SEXs.
I think.
Wow.
I think
okay.
they actually hit
I'm going to say
30.
that's too wrong. That's so wrong that I'm going to give you 2 negatives for having gotten it wrong.
Wait. I don't think it was that bad. It was it
not that bad?
15. It reached 15%.
It reached 15%. How is that
pretty
not?
good?
That okay.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
like
that's
a
true.
decay.
15
It's
does sound like 50.
15.
If you say it fast, 15. If you think it was 50.
I think you get
Okay.
1.5 incorrect answer.
All right. Okay. So second is that a point to airdrop conversion system will fail due to complexity or errors. I don't know what that means, but I don't think that happened. So I'm gonna say 2.5 down, and then lastly, DeFi tokens will experience a resurgence in value. Very good. That is, you know what? I'm gonna give you 1.5 for how right that was. So you're down to -1. I'm gonna say you got 2 right for that. So you're pretty good. Wait, no, that's 2 wrong.
We're just making this up as we go.
No.
Yeah.
There's a system. No, don't worry about it.
It doesn't apply to
All right.
Tarun. It
Steve
applies
is
to
playing
everybody else.
favorites here.
Tarun,
This is-
you're
this is
doing
not fair.
well. You're doing well. No, you're doing well. You're down 2 though. Tom, you are more emphasis on app-based monetization and decentralization. Teams will monetize front ends more heavily and or shift toward decentralized or locally hosted front ends.
I got the
That
monetization
seems like a
part.
two-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a
Yeah.
two-parter. Okay, so part 1, app-based monetization. Yeah, definitely +1 on that. Teams will decentralize their front ends.
Yeah.
Super minded. Yeah.
I'll give
Yeah,
myself a
absolutely
miss
not.
on that one.
Okay, so and then third is a resurgence of crypto lending, which I mean,
Maybe.
yes for
Sure.
Aave, but like no in like non-DeFi lending.
I would say that. I mean,
I think what you were
Arch raised a bunch
imagining
of
was like
money.
Genesis coming back
Yes.
and like this kind
Yes,
of. I think that's what
that
you were
did
saying.
not happen. Yeah.
That did not happen. So I'll give you a 0.5 for that because like DeFi lending did come back. But you know, CeFi lending, which I think was the spirit of what you were saying, like that absolutely did not come back. So yeah, credit is still pretty shit. So I think that means that Tom won with 1.5 correct predictions from last year. I think I did the worst. I'm 0 for 3 and Tom 1 for 3.
C's
1.5
get
for 3.
degrees.
So well done. Well done. Wait, what?
C's get degrees. No.
C's get degree. Wait, what does that mean?
You've
I've
never heard that before?
phrase. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's like as long as you get a C, you still get a degree.
I thought it's once you get a D,
I
you
see.
get a degree.
I see. C's okay, just like barely passing grades. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well done. All right, so now let's go around and do predictions for 2025, and we will come back and grade ourselves at the end of 2025. So my prediction for 2025: first, BTC will hit 150K and then dump. Second prediction: DeSci tokens will turbo pump.
I hate you.
And then third is that AI coins will go bananas this year, but they will have very little adoption. And not adoptions of the coins, but adoptions of the underlying protocols. Those are my 3 predictions. Robert, what are your 3 predictions for 2025?
Well, I'll start with the Bitcoin price target one because mine is higher than Haseeb's. And so therefore I get more points or credit next year if this occurs. I think Bitcoin will hit $180,000. I don't think it's going to like immediately have a blow off top or dump like Haseeb does. I think, it's going to be a wild year. I think Bitcoin to 180K.
To be clear, I'm not saying that BTC will dump like end the year below 150, but I think it will hit 150 and then go like significantly low, maybe like 120, 110, or I don't know, something like that. Big correction after 150.
My second prediction is that we are going to, for the first time, see crypto-specific legislations signed into law. I think that'll be a major milestone in the US.
Okay.
And my
That
third...
feels really safe. That feels like a really safe prediction.
It's not safe. If you made this prediction every other year, you would have lost.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine.
The Republicans
All right.
have the House by like 2 seats.
This one's going to go for 0.5, just so you know.
We'll see. I
Okay,
think it's worth a
okay.
full 1 point, but we can debate that next year.
All right. We'll do it by
And-
majority rules.
Yes.
We'll take a vote next year.
And lastly, I predict that an AI-based system will become a crypto scammer.
A crypto scammer. Okay. I like that. I
Like what
that.
level
Okay.
of scammer are we talking about? Are we talking
Like
about
Yeah. How
people
big,
right
of a
now-
scam? How big does the scam have to be?
No,
we talking
there
about-
will be a news article in The Block or CoinDesk or some other somewhat credible publication about how an AI is scamming people.
Okay. Nice.
That also seems like a very
that's
safe
probably
bet.
already
That's
happening.
Like kind of a
How is
safe
that a
bet.
safe bet?
That's a fucking safe bet. That's a
What are you
bullshit. Like that
talking about?
already is happening. We were
No, it's
already
not.
there.
What are you talking
I can
about?
literally make a virtual scam bot in 5 minutes of JavaScript TypeScript right now. Like this is going to happen no matter what.
Okay,
Yeah,
well then it's a bold prediction.
I like the
No.
prediction.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It has to be like newsworthy, not just like
Yeah, newsworthy.
there's some background
Okay,
radiation
fine,
of
fine,
scammy
fine.
scammy AIs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, of course, that's going to be true.
A
But there's like some
newsworthy
newsworthy
AI
thing.
driven.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
some
yeah.
newsworthy thing that happens around this. Okay, that's a good prediction. All right,
Tarun's bot goes
I
crazy.
cannot believe you dare took the DeSci one. Jesus.
All right, you're up.
Predictions. I actually think the AppChain L2 space, as I said, is biggest losers. I think their economics are going to continue to actually be quite unfavorable, and we're going to see mergers. So like either rollups figuring out mergers or app chains where they like, they have to pool resources or it's like too expensive to run both of them, and we start actually seeing consolidation. I think
There's the mergers
this,
in
like,
the plural.
in the plural, yeah, probably. I'll say more than one. I'm fine with that. But basically, like, my reason for this is like we had this huge expansion in rollups, and then you're kind of seeing this like high concentration of transaction volume, and like there's all the dead rollups. Rollups aren't just smart contracts where it's like it dies, whatever. Like there are people running infrastructure. There's all this other stuff, and so there's carry costs, and I think that will lead to this. The second, which I think is a much more precise prediction than I think Robert's, which is I think the AI agent market cap will at least 5x. So right now it's at around 10 billion if you go by CoinGecko's numbers, and I think like 5x easy on that. And then finally, I think Solana's inflation will be decreased. So everyone's like fighting over emission curves on Ethereum and Solana and whatever. And Solana has relatively high inflation, but I think like MEV is sufficiently high on Solana that like people will start
Decrease
being like, well,
by how much? How much?
At least 25%.
At least 25% of the current emissions, or by
of the
25%?
current emissions. At least.
Okay, so it'll chop into a fourth of the current emissions. Okay.
No. It'll be at most 3/4 of the current emissions. Sorry, that's what I mean.
At most 3/4. Okay, so a pretty modest decrease in the total.
I think
budget.
but I'm giving you kind of a one-sided.
Okay, so this is a very safe. Yeah, that's a fairly safe. That's a fairly safe.
Yeah, Robert can make fun of me for that one. We both trade safe bets. We trade in safe.
Okay,
bets.
yeah, clearly.
We'll make fun of each other next year.
All right, good. Okay, good. All right, Tom, what are your 4 predictions for 2025?
All right. First up, we got some sort of, I'm putting this in a category of money games. So things like Fresa or The Button or Crypto the Game will go mainstream viral. We'll have people making TikToks about it, and we'll get super big, and it'll be like, national lottery level big. So I think we'll have something like that, maybe a FOMO 3D, maybe a wolf game. I don't know what it's going to look like, but something like that. We are going to get a new asset ETF, but it's not going to be Solana or like the ones that crypto people really want. It's going to be like XRP or like Litecoin or something really lame. I think that's my bet. And then we're going to have some sort of massive application level compromise. So you already see some tricklings of this. Like there was this Solana signing library that had a compromise that could leak private keys like a couple weeks ago. There was like that random like Chinese supply chain attack and like some Python library. So there's already kind of these like cracks popping in, and I feel like you just need one of those to hit, and then suddenly someone's app is totally owned. And I feel like not enough attention gets placed on that.
Do you think it will be
discussed.
Supply chain in particular? Like it'll be like a library that like people are importing and not checking, or do you think it will be like more complex, like in the how it gets injected?
I mean, I suspect it'll probably be more unintentional bug versus supply chain, but I guess if that's kind of what you're asking.
Yeah. Actually, so related to your first question, your first prediction.
It was a prediction, actually.
Prediction. Sorry. Your first prediction about gaming getting popular. I have a question for you guys based on what you watching the news and Twitter, whatever. Is the meme coin fart coin like? Does it have mass adoption? Because like I swear that I see the most.
It has gas adoption.
my cousins and parents are like, "Hey, have you seen this fart coin thing? It's worth more than Applebee's." I'm like, "Why the fuck are you looking at that?"
I think that there's a viral chart going around today stating this fact, and I think that is very easy to share.
It has reached a level where I feel like if they made the game, Tom's predictions come true.
Yeah.
I did have a dinner with somebody who was not at all anywhere in crypto, and they mentioned Fartcoin. So it does feel like it's poking through.
It seems like it's
could
like
be a Fartcoin ETF. We don't know.
Like,
yeah.
Fartcoin
the name is so absurd that like it's just like the name itself is what's viral, but not necessarily people buying it. Like,
but it's almost a billion market. It's
market
almost
cap
at a
is-
billion market cap. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it was really mainstream, I mean, it'd be like Doge, right? If it was really mainstream. A billion market cap in crypto is
But
like,
you have
okay,
to buy
it's
it in the Sol on chain on Solana. It's not like you can go buy it. It's not even listed.
Is it
That's
not
what I'm
listed
saying.
anywhere?
I don't. Let me look.
And Farquhar, it's like some AI thing, right? It's like some AI agent
it's on
or something?
it's on BitGet and Radium. That's it. BitGet,
Okay.
Radium, Orca. Like it's not even like on big
I-
exchanges.
I have no idea. I've not.
Another
followed Farquhar.
embarrassment for the industry.
A perfect note on which to end the year is, guys, we don't have a real job and this is a joke industry, but I'm very happy to be navigating all this with the three of you. We got to wrap, but it's been an awesome year. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be doing it hopefully for a long time hence. We'll be off next week, but we will see you again around the new year, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Don't buy too much fart coin.